Hi guys, I'm Rebecca and welcome to this 60-minute strong and flexible class. Today in class we're going to continue to work on core and upper body strength. So let's just take a moment to tune into our bodies. So when you're ready, coming to a seated position, turning the palms down for grounding, closing your eyes, just taking a moment to check in. Doing a curiosity scan. So being aware of how you physically feel today, the physical body, your posture, your muscles, the joints, the ligaments, everything that physically makes you, you. Noticing any areas of tension and just breathing a little bit of space and awareness into them. Then observing the breath body, noticing the shape and the rhythm of the breath, of how the breath moves the body, the expansion of the inhalation and the contraction of the exhalation, the natural rhythm of life. Then being aware of the mind body, being aware of your thoughts and emotions without judging them and just setting an intention for the practice to stay present and curious. Having a go at everything and keeping a sense of fun and play. Let's then take our hands together in prayer. Thank you so much for coming to join me with your practice. Namaste. So we'll start off by warming up the wrist today. So coming to a tabletop position, stacking the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. We'll just start by turning the wrists backwards and forwards, waking up the wrists and just stretching them out a little bit. We'll just do about 10 of these, spreading the fingers wide, and we can already draw a little bit of awareness to the shoulders. So protracting the shoulders, pushing them up and away, and keeping the tailbone slightly tucked. We'll then come back to the center. We're going to do hands of the heel of the hands lifts now. So from here, you're keeping the fingertips down. You're just lifting the palms of the hands up and then dropping them down. And we'll go for 10, 9, leaning forward, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it back. We're now going to turn the back of the right hand down and place the left palm directly on top of it so the fingers align. We'll then spiral the right elbow out, so bending, straightening, lifting, get back. We'll go for 4 more, so 2, 3, externally rotating the shoulder, 4, last one, and 5. And when we get to the top, we'll lean over to the left so it stretches out the back of the right wrist. Release, and let's do the other side. So this time taking the back of the left hand down, placing the right palm directly on top of it. 5 times we're spiraling the elbow out and extending it back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time, bringing it up, and 5. Perfect. Again, one more time, we're going to turn the hands around back towards the knees. And this time, push the hips back towards the heel. So the heel of the hand can lift slightly. You can either stay here, or if you want to go a little bit more into a strength posture, you could press yourself into a downward facing dog, keeping the knees a little bit bent if you need to. Just holding it here. And if you're down dog, just gazing towards the back of the knees. And then we'll bring it back. So from this position, take the hands forward, pointing the index finger towards the front of the mat. We're then going to press ourselves up into a plank. And in your plank pose, think of protracting the shoulders, pushing the floor away from you, drawing the ribs in and squeezing the thighs towards one another, like you're holding a block there. From this position, keeping the body straight, we're just going to start to lean forward and backwards for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back, walk the hands forward. So we're coming into an extended plank. The further forward you walk your hands here, the more challenging it is. But think here of extending the shoulders towards the ears. So you're trying to kiss your shoulders to your ears, draw the ribs in, and we're creating this hollow body position here. Again, if you want to intensify it a little bit more, walk the feet and hands further away from one another. And if you want to challenge yourself even further, you could come onto the tops of the feet, which is then going to start to strengthen the ankles. And you want to keep the biceps and the ears together here. Squeezing the thighs together, activating everything. We'll hold for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walking yourself back into your plank. Again, hands directly underneath the shoulders. We'll move through a chaturanga. So shift the shoulders past the fingertips, hug the elbows in towards the ribs. We'll then roll into an upward facing dog. Just holding it here for a moment in your up dog. We'll just do some shoulder rolls. So drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and then rolling them down the spine. 2 more times like this. So shoulders up towards the ears, rolling them down the spine. Last time, shoulders up and rolling them down the back. Tuck the toes under, sit back towards the heels and hover the knees just off the ground in like a floating chair position, trying to squeeze the thighs in towards the center and again extend into the shoulders. Then from this position, start to straighten the legs into your down dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. We'll just walk it out in our down dog, so bending the right knee, twisting to the left, gazing underneath the left armpit. And then we'll bend the left knee and twist to the right, gazing underneath the right armpit. One more time, right knee bends, gazing underneath your left armpit. The shoulders stay nice and square. Bending the left knee and twisting to the right, gazing underneath the right armpit. Coming back to center, step the feet together, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're then going to lift the right leg up, demi-pointing the feet. So the foot is pointed, but the toes are flexed and keeping the shoulders nice and square. From this position, start to draw a big arc coming out to the side with the right leg, gazing underneath your right armpit, and then we'll step the right foot to the outer edge of the right hand. Think of lifting up your chest, gazing forward, and then as you exhale, start to straighten the right leg, keeping the toes pointed for this one, and pull yourself backwards into a pyramid position. Again, bending your right knee, lift the chest up. We'll take the right leg out to the side again to the same height as the hip, and then draw it all the way back into our three-legged dog. 2 more times just like this. So drawing the right leg out to the side, gazing underneath the right armpit, then stepping the right foot to the outer edge of the right hand, lifting up here. So finding a little bit of an up dog position here, and then drawing your right leg back, externally rotating that right thigh, squeezing the thighs together. We'll then bend the right knee, lift the chest and look up. Again, draw the right leg out to the side and then circle it all the way back to your three-legged dog. Drawing the right leg out to the side. This time we'll stay with the right leg forward for a moment. So lifting your chest, looking up. Again, finding some extension here and then pulling the right leg all the way back and folding down. Back foot's at about a 45-degree angle. We'll then bend the right knee, lower yourself all the way down and push the right thigh out to the side, twisting and gazing over your right shoulder, then drawing the right knee into the center. 2 more times like this. So pushing the right thigh out to the side, staying on the knife edge of the foot and drawing the leg back to the center. 1 more time, pushing the right leg out to the side and then drawing the right leg into the center. From here, let's just take a twist. So taking your right arm up towards the sky, you can either stay here or tuck underneath your back toes. And let's just draw some arm circles. So taking the right arm all the way back, reaching the right arm all the way forward and extending back up again. 2 more times, right arm sweeps back, forward and circles up again. Last time, circling back, reaching forward and extending up again. From this position, drop your left knee down. We're then going to take the back of the right hand to the lower back and place the right elbow to the inside of the right thigh. So like it's a broken chicken wing, I'll show you from this angle. From this position, lift your left arm up, straighten the left leg coming into your extended side angle, and think of using that right elbow to push the right thigh open. You're gazing up and looking towards your left thumb. From this position, lift yourself up into a warrior two and then turn the toes in towards one another, Padottanasana. Hands come down on the ground. Inhale, lift the chest and look up. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, lower the head towards the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest up. Exhale, bending the elbows, lowering the head down. One more time, lifting the chest up. And as you exhale, bending the elbows and lowering down. We'll then quarter turn back to the right, framing the right foot in our lunge and kick the right leg backwards into your three-legged dog. From this position, come forward into a plank, lower down chaturanga, lift yourself into your upward facing dog, and then push yourself back, downward facing dog. So let's do the other side now. So again, take your feet together, lift your left leg up and demi-point through the feet. We're then drawing a big circle coming out to the side and the left foot steps to the edge of the left hand. Lift your chest, find some extension here. Think of sliding the hands back towards the hips. And then as you exhale, straighten the left leg and pull your left hip back. We'll then bend into the left knee, sweep the left leg out to the side, taking it back into a three-legged dog. 2 more times like this. Big sweep out with the left leg, trying to keep it straight and step the left foot to the outer edge of the left hand. Again, lift the chest, look up curiously, and then straighten the left leg and pull yourself backwards, pyramid variation. Again, bending the left knee, lifting the chest, looking up, then sweeping your left leg all the way out to the side and back up, three-legged dog. Last time, left leg sweeps all the way out to the side, step it to the outer edge of the left hand, lift your chest and look up. We're then straightening the left leg, drawing the left hip back, right hip forward into your pyramid variation. Bend your right knee and lower down. We're then taking the left hand onto the left hip, keeping the back toes tucked under, pushing the left thigh out to the side, pressing through the knife edge of the foot, and then bringing ourselves back. 2 more times like this. So rolling onto the knife edge of the foot, pushing out, and bringing yourself back. 1 more time, pressing the left thigh out, gazing over the left shoulder, and bringing yourself back. So again, let's take a twist here. So keeping the right hand underneath the right shoulder, straighten that right leg, and lift the left arm up. From this position, again, let's draw some big circles. So we're going to sweep the left arm all the way back, extending it over the ear, and then bringing it back to the center. Again, sweeping the left arm all the way back, reaching forward, nice big rotation, and bringing it back to the center. Last time, so big circle with the left arm going all the way back, reaching it forward and bringing it back to the center. We'll then lower down onto the right knee. So again, it's a little bit of a weird position, but we're taking the back of the left hand to the lower back and then bringing the elbow to the inside of the left thigh. From this position, straighten out the right leg and lift the right arm up and over the ear. So creating a nice diagonal line that starts through the right foot and reaches through the right fingertips. We'll then push ourselves up into a warrior two, and turn the toes in towards the center, Padottanasana. Take the left hand directly underneath your face and lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to pull the right arm backwards 10 times, but try to keep the hips level. So we're going 10, 9, gazing backwards, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. Then swap sides. So right hand comes down underneath the face, left arm comes up, and again we'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's rinse the shoulders in between. So interlace the hands behind the back, lift the arms up and away from the body, and then transfer the weight from the heels into the toes, sending the butt up high and keeping the wrist together as much as you can. Just taking a deep breath in here and a deep breath out. Then inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, come to center, and then we'll quarter turn to the left, coming to the front of the mat. Left leg comes backwards into your three-legged dog. Then bring it forward, plank, lower chaturanga, lifting into your upward facing dog, and then pushing yourself all the way back into your downward facing dog. From here, bend the knees, gaze forward, and either step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, look up and lift the chest. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands together, Samastitihi. So we'll turn this into our Surya Namaskar A's, but we'll add in some variations to work on upper body strength. So feet together, big toes touching, lift the arms up, gaze towards the thumbs, Urdhva Hastasana. You can add in a slight back bend here if you like. And as you exhale, fold it all the way down. Inhale, look up halfway, lifting the chest. Exhale, transfer the weight forward, either step, jump or float back, plank. From your plank position, bend the knees and hover the elbows just off the mat, pressing backwards into a turbo dog. From here, push yourself forward into a plank, lower down, chaturanga, press yourself into an upward facing dog with the toes tucked. We're then going back to a chaturanga, pressing into a plank, bend the knees, hover the elbows just off the mat, turbo dog, and then straighten the arms, straighten the legs, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, gazing forward, step, jump or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, look up, lift the chest. Exhale, fold it down. Bend the knees, lift yourself into your Utkatasana, tailbone tucked, ribs in, and then bring yourself back to standing Samastitihi. So we're going to do 2 more, just like this. So again, feet together, lift the arms, slight arch backwards. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, look up halfway. Again, hands down, shift the weight forward, leaning forward, either step, jump or float the feet back into a plank. Again, push the floor away from you in your plank. We're then bending the elbows, bending the knees, hovering back into a turbo dog. From here, explode forward into a plank, lower into a chaturanga, keep the toes tucked, lifting into your floating dog. Then from this position, we go back to a chaturanga, press up into a plank, bend the knees, bend the elbows, turbo dog, and then straighten into a downward facing dog. Deep breath in here, deep breath out. Bend the knees, bend the elbows a little bit, step, jump or float the feet forward. Inhale, look up and lift. Exhale, fold it down. Then bend the knees, bend the elbows, lift up into your Utkatasana, coming up to standing, Samastitihi. Okay, let's do 1 more of these. Feet together, lift the arms up, add in a slight arch if you like, and then fold yourself all the way down. Again, inhale, look up halfway, hands down flat, lean it forward, either step, jump or float the feet back into a plank. From this position, bend the knees, bend the elbows, hover in your turbo dog. We're then pushing forward into a plank, lowering down chaturanga, keeping the toes tucked, lifting into a floating dog, Then from this position, lowering chaturanga, pressing up straight, downward facing dog, bend the knees, bend the elbows, and push back. Turbo, downward facing dog, getting all of my dogs mixed up. There's so many dogs. Okay, from your downward facing dog, slight bend in the knees and try to lower both of your forearms down at the same time. Then from this position, we're going to walk the feet backwards all the way into a forearm plank. From here, we'll work into hip dips to work the side of the waist. So we're dipping the hips to the right, back to center, and then dipping the hips to the left, back to center. Let's go 9 more times each side. Right and left and right and left. That's 8 and right and left. 7 to the right, to the left. 6, right and left. 5, right and left. 4, right and left. 3, right and left. 2, last one, right and left. 1. Okay, lower yourself down, coming into a Sphinx pose, which should feel really nice at the moment, but don't get too comfortable here. So we're taking the forearms down, and imagine here that you're sliding your elbows back towards your hips. Then from this position, we're going to lift our hips up, coming into a forearm plank, and then hover the hips just off the ground into a floating position. So again, hips lift up, hips dip down, lift the chest. 2, lift up, hover just off the ground. 3, and lift up, hover down. 4, lift up, hover down. 5, lifting up, hover down. 6, lift up, hover down. 7, lift up, hover down. 8, 2 more times, lift up, hover down. 9, lift up, hover down, and 10. Okay, just taking a moment here, readjusting the forearms if you need to, lifting up into a forearm plank, and then walking yourself back into your forearm dog. So we'll just do 1 more set of reps here. So from here, we're going to lean forward, take the nose to the thumbs, and push it back. 1, nose forward, touch down, push back. 2, drawing forward, push back. 3, and 4, 5, 6, really working into the shoulders. 7, 8, 9, and 10. From this position, see if you can straighten both of your arms at the same time. We're then going to walk the feet back, bringing ourselves back into that extended plank. So again, the further you walk the hands and feet away from one another, the more challenging this is. And if you want to take it onto the tops of the feet, don't wear moisturizer like I am because it's really slippy. And we'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk back. Walk your hands back into your plank. Shift it forward. Lower chaturanga. Lift into your upward facing dog. Let's just take a moment here. Big breath in, big breath out. Feels really good. Stretching it out after doing all of this. And then pushing it back into your downward facing dog. Deep breath in here, deep breath out. Then bend the knees, slight bend in the elbows, step, jump or float forward, look up and fold yourself down. Bending your knees, lifting yourself up, Utkatasana, coming back to a standing position. Okay, let's move forward. So take your feet about hip distance apart. We're then going to bend the knees, lift the arms up, coming into an Utkatasana, and we're going to do 10 heel lifts here. So heels lift and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then take the hands together. We'll do micro pulses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just walk the feet out a little bit wider and squat yourself down into a Malasana. We'll just do a quick shoulder twist here. So take the right elbow to the right thigh and draw your left arm backwards like you're shooting a bow and arrow behind you. From here, if it feels okay, you can wrap the right arm around the back and reach for either the left fingertips or the wrist. And if you've got the wrist, use the right hand to pull the left arm straight so you get a deeper twist here. We'll then bring it back to the center. Take your left elbow to the left thigh. Again, imagine you shooting towards the stars, praying for a miracle, praying for this lockdown to be over. And again, either stay here or the left hand either goes for the right fingertips or the right wrist. And again, if you've got the wrist, use the left hand to pull it out straight. Perfect. And come back to center. From this position, come to a seated position. Straighten out my mat. So we're going to work into a couple of arm balances next. So let's just look at the active compression needed to do this. So you're trying to squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball and take your knees as high up the arms as you can. So imagine you're trying to get them to touch your armpits. Flex the palms and push forward and squeeze your heels towards the butt. From here, we're going to extend backwards into a low boat or dish position. And then we're taking the knees to the triceps and lifting up. That's one. So lowering down, lifting up, making yourself tiny too. And lower, low boat or dish, lift up, 3. And lower, ribs in, back straight, lifting up, 4. Lower down, pull yourself in tiny, 5. And lower, and lift, slide the knees up the arms, 6. Lower, and lift up, 7. Lower, lifting up, 8. 2 more, lower, lift up, 9. The last one, we're going to hold it at the bottom for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold at the top for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Place the feet down. Lift yourself back into a Malasana. Just take a moment here. In fact, let's do a quick shoulder rinse again. So straightening the legs, taking the arms behind your back, slight bend in the knees. From here, we're going to straighten the left leg, bend the right knee even more, and tap the right knee towards the right shoulder, gazing over the left shoulder. We'll then straighten the left leg, tap the left shoulder towards the left knee, and gaze up to the right. We'll then straighten both of the legs, lifting the arms up and over and pressing the weight from the heels into the toes more. We'll then squat it back down into a Malasana. So here we're going to play with crow pose or Bakasana. So taking the hands down, and for the purpose of this crow, we're going to keep the elbows bent because you can turn it into a transition. So you want the hands about shoulder distance apart, and you want to imagine a triangle on the floor, so your head would make the top of that triangle. I'm gripping with my fingertips to fire up my extensors, lifting my bum up high like I'm switching on a light switch on the ceiling, and then if this feels okay, lifting one leg, and if this feels okay, lifting the other leg and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, lowering it down. So we're going to do this one more time. If you've got crow and you want to take it up a notch, this time you can try and take it into a headstand, which I'll show. But if this is too much for you, just stick with crow pose. So again, we're leaning forward, lifting one foot, lifting the other into crow. If this feels okay, the head dips down. You're then drawing the knees into the center and pressing the feet up into your headstand position. Holding it here for a moment, drawing the ribs in, squeezing the thighs towards the center. And if you want to try coming back into crow, bend the knees, take the knees onto the back of the arms, press the base of the big toes together and lift the chest. Ba-ding! Then we'll bring it all the way back. Okay, wherever you are, join me in plank. So hands down, bringing it back into a plank. Shift the shoulders forward, lower chaturanga, lift into an upward facing dog, and then push yourself back into a down dog. Just take a couple of breaths here, resetting yourself. Okay, so for the next exercise, if you've got a block, it might be useful. You might not need one. We're going to come into a downward facing dog, and it may help if you take your right hand on a block, or you can also come onto the fingertips. If you're really flexible, keep the wrist down and challenge yourself. From this position though, we're starting with the feet together, lifting the right leg up. You then want to think of suctioning the right thigh into the socket, flex the toes so you've got a little bit more space, and try to tap the right wrist, and then lift it back up. 1, bringing the right leg forward as far as you can, tap the wrist, and lift up 2. Drawing it forward, lifting up 3. We'll go for 10. Drawing the thigh into the socket, tap the wrist, 4. Suctioning in, 5. Just 5 more. 6. 7. 8. 9. Last one. And 10. Then place the right hand down, draw the right knee into the chest, protract the shoulders, and step your right leg forward. From this position, we're going to lift up into a high lunge, and then draw the right arm back and open. From here, gaze down, tap the left hand to touch the floor, so you're coming through a turning moon, and then soften the right knee, lift the left leg up, lengthen the left arm back, and see if you can touch your left toes with your right hand. We'll then reverse the movement, so coming back through our turning moon, placing the left foot down and opening back into our twisted warrior. We'll do this again. Left hand down, right arm up, so we're lifting into turning moon. Bend the right knee slightly, left leg comes forward. If you can, tap the toes and gaze back. Again, reversing the movement. Left fingertips come down, right arm comes up, turning moon. Bending the right knee and opening back into your Celtic cross. Let's go for another one. So dropping the left hand down, right arm lifts up, soften the right knee as you bring yourself all the way up and try to tap the toes and turn back. Perfect. So reversing the movement, coming back through a turning moon, and then let's just take the left leg back. Take the hands down and step yourself back into a three-legged dog. From this position, come forward into a three-legged plank. We're then trying to turn onto the outer edge of the left foot and lift the right arm up. Bringing yourself back into a three-legged plank, and then roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and try to lift your right arm up. One more time, bringing yourself into a three-legged plank, and then turning out to the side and seeing if you can lift the right arm up. Bring yourself back into a three-legged plank, come onto the left fingertips. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, maybe the index finger, or option 3, straighten the left arm. You can also really challenge yourself by trying to take the right knee towards the right elbow and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shoot the right leg backwards through your three-legged dog, and then from here, try to lower the forearms down towards the ground. Keep the right leg lifted as much as you can. Bend your left knee, push the hips backwards, and then try to press yourself forward into a plank. Lower chaturanga, lift yourself into an upward facing dog, and then push yourself back into a downward facing dog. Just taking a couple of deep breaths here before we move ourselves on to the other side. So deep breath in through your nose, and then a deep cleansing breath out through your mouth. So again, for this next pose or transition, drill, let's call it, if you need a block, use a block. Or again,
bring yourself up onto the fingertips. So from this position, we're lifting the left leg up. This time we want to flex the foot so it's easier to draw it forward. So we're sending the left foot towards the left wrist, trying to tap it and shooting it all the way back. 1, drawing it forward. Again, try to tap the wrist and shoot it backwards. 2, left leg sweeps forward and shoot it back. 3, pulling forward, shooting back. 4, 6 more, forward, swinging back. 5, halfway gone, forward and back. 6, trying to keep that left leg straight. 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, and 10. That one's over, yes. So from here, bend your left knee, draw it into the chest, and then we're stepping our left leg forward. So again, from this position, we're going to lift ourselves up into a high lunge and then sweep the left arm backwards, right arm forward into a turning lunge. From here, place the right fingertips down, lift the right leg up, lift the left arm up, squaring through the hips, coming into a turning moon. Then from this position, losing my balance, the right leg comes forward and see if you can draw the left arm backwards. So from here, shooting the right leg back. Again, let's reverse the movement. So right hand down, left arm up, coming back through your turning moon. Then the right leg steps back and we're opening up into a twisted lunge. 2 more times just like this. So from here again, right fingertips down, right leg lifts, we're coming into a turning moon. We're then softening the left knee, reversing the direction. So right arm goes backwards, left leg goes forward, and see if you can tap the toes. I did it right that time. Okay, so again, sweep that right leg back, right hand comes down, back into your turning moon, right foot steps back, arms open wide into a Celtic cross. So 1 more time here, taking the right hand down, lifting the left arm up, coming into your turning moon, and then bending the right knee, bringing it up, right arm comes backwards, maybe try to tap the toes, Celtic cross. Reversing the movement, right leg back, right hand down, turning moon, then step the right leg back and bring it back into a Celtic cross. So taking the hands down here, shoot your left leg backwards into a three-legged dog. We're then coming forward, three-legged plank. From this position, roll onto the outer edge of the right foot and try to lift the left arm up. We're then coming back through a three-legged plank. 2 more times. So roll onto the outer edge of the right foot, lift the left arm up, and then draw yourself back, three-legged plank. Last time, so rolling onto the outer edge of the right foot, lifting the left arm up, back into a three-legged plank. So from here, again, different options. See if you can tent the right fingertips. Maybe you can reach the right arm forward. Maybe you can draw the knee to the elbow, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left leg comes backwards, so we're back in our three-legged dog. And then from here, lower the forearms down into your dolphin dog. Bend the right knee, send the hips backwards. We're then trying to push ourselves forward into a three-legged plank, lower down chaturanga, lift yourself into an upward facing dog, and then push yourself back into a downward facing dog. Let's just take a few breaths here. So going back to your breath, noticing the rhythm of your heart, trying to really keep that breath nice and deep. So the slower and deeper you breathe, the more it's going to calm down your body, the more it will calm down your mind. So 1 more deep breath in. And then let's just breathe out through the mouth, letting go. So from here, bend your knees, gaze forward, and either step or jump the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, look up and lift the chest. And as you exhale, fold yourself down. Bending the knees, lifting yourself up into Anukatasana. And then as you exhale, bring yourself back. Samasthiti. Okay, so for the next exercise, if you've got a block, use a block here. And we're coming back into our awkward chair. So I'm taking a block between my thighs and I'm squeezing my thighs together a lot. I'm then going to bend my knees and lift myself into Anukatasana. From this position, I'm seeing if I can lift the right leg, squeezing the block and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then taking the right leg back. Let's try the left leg. So lifting the left leg, the knees are staying together, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do one more time each side. So again, bending the knees, squatting down, right leg lifts, knees together, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's swap sides. So straightening the left leg, holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can then release the block, let it go. Okay, so moving through our last set, strength set, and again, we'll just explore a couple of arm balances here. So from this position, lift your right leg up, and if it feels okay, straighten the right leg out and hold. Keeping the chest lifted, extend up through the top of the head. We're then going to bend the right knee, I'll turn this way for this one, and draw the right thigh out to the side. So working into our external rotation. Then try to turn the right knee in and extend the right leg away, moving into your abduction and kicking the foot away from you. Holding it here, stay where you are. I'm just going to turn back the other way. So it's like a kick out to the side. Then from here, I'm circling the right leg all the way back. So it's like an active half moon position. The right hip stacks on top of the left. And then going to close the right hip. So we're almost in a warrior 3 position, but with the arms lifted up. Then from here, bend the right knee and cross the right knee and behind the left knee. So you're coming into a twisted position. We'll just start this off with a twist. So lifting the right arm up towards the sky, then take your right elbow over your left thigh, lift up tall, twist, and look over your left shoulder. You can either stay here, or if you want to add in a bind, the right hand would go underneath the left hamstring and you'd be reaching for your left wrist. Think of lifting up tall through the top of the head and then twisting and gazing over the left shoulder. We'll do one more breath here like this. So big breath in and a big breath out. And then bring it back. So from here, we can explore a couple of arm balances. So if you want to try it, push yourself up onto your right shin. Then from here, I'd be taking both of my arms over to the left. Eventually, we're just balanced on the right elbow, but to begin with, you can use both elbows if it helps you to get the balance. I'm turning my thumbs to point in a little bit as it helps roll my shoulders out. From this position, I'm imagining a triangle. I'll move backwards a little bit on the floor. So my left ear would make the top of a triangle. And to begin with, I'm just trying to lift my knees off the ground and hold it. Once this feels comfortable, you'd slide so you're just on the right elbow. And then you could straighten the legs out to the side. From this position, if you really want to challenge yourself, it's quite a fast movement, but you switch legs by bringing the right leg forward and the left leg backwards. Awesome. Then bring yourself down and release. Okay, so we can now turn this into an arm balance on the other side. So from this position, I'd be taking both of my legs to the inside of my left foot. Then from this position, so I think I'd be back over this way, left leg on top. I'd be taking my left elbow to the inside of my left thigh. Again, my hands are shoulder distance and I'm taking my right ear on the floor. So look at how my left arm makes a 90-degree angle. You can either stay here or you can start to straighten the left leg out. If this feels okay, you could tuck underneath the back toes and lift the hip off the ground. Or again, if you wanted to come into the full arm balance, you'd lift yourself up a little bit. Left elbow would slide into the left thigh and you'd be lifting up into your Ekapada Kondinyasa position. Awesome. Okay, so let's take it back. So we're back in our twist, Malasana, where we started. Let's just move through a vinyasa. So press the left foot down to lift the right leg up. We're back in a warrior three. And then send the right leg back. From here, hands down, left leg shoots backwards into your three-legged dog. Again, from here, let's play with what we did last time. So we're bending the elbows, lowering down, bending the right knee, and then pushing ourselves forward into a three-legged plank. Lowering down chaturanga, lifting into an upward facing dog, and then pushing back, downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in here, and a deep breath out. Then bend the knees, send the hips back, step, jump or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the chest and look up. Exhale, fold yourself down. Then from here, bend your knees, lift yourself back up, Utkatasana, and we'll bring ourselves back, Samastitihi. So we've just got the other side to do. So again, bring your feet together. We're then lifting the left leg up, drawing the thigh towards the chest. From this position, see if you can straighten the left leg out. Again, chest lifted, you're not leaning forward or backwards. And then you're bending the left knee, working into your external rotation. From this position, abduction, so kicking the left foot away from you. And then if this feels okay, again, I'm going to turn for the front for this next movement. You're sweeping the left leg back, stacking the left hip on top of the right into an active half moon. We're then internally rotating the left thigh, bringing it through a warrior three position and bending the left knee and taking it behind the right knee. So we'll just start with a twist in this position. Left arm comes up and then bring your left elbow over your right thigh. Again, as you breathe in, think of getting taller, building length in the spine. And as you exhale, twisting and gazing over the right shoulder. So again, you can either stay here, or if you want to work into a bind, the left arm comes underneath the hamstring and you're reaching for the right wrist. Inhale, lifting up nice and tall. And as you exhale, gazing over the right shoulder. One more breath in like this. Deep breath out. So again, moving into that arm balance position. If you try and lift up onto the left shin. So to begin with, it's easier to use both elbows and turn the thumbs in so the elbows don't collapse out as much. Right ear makes the top of a triangle, and you're just trying to lift your feet off the ground. If this feels okay, you'd slide the right elbow out a little bit and straighten out the legs. And again, to get that switch, you kind of need to add a little bit of a dynamic jump and switch the left leg so it's on top of the left elbow. And bring it back. So again, we've got the right leg over the left leg. Let's come into the arm balance from the other direction. So our arms are lifting up and then taking my hands down to the left. So I want to hook my right elbow into my right thigh and then take my left ear onto the ground. So I'm trying to make that 90-degree angle with the right elbow. My right leg could then straighten out. And if this feels okay, I could tuck underneath my back toes and lift. So this is one way you can start working into the arm balance. But if you feel ready to come into your Ekapada Kondinyasa straight away, you'd bring it up, hands to the left, right elbow, right thigh, and then extend yourself out to the side and hold. Perfect. So let's move back through our vinyasa. So taking the right leg over the left leg, pushing up, left leg straightens backwards through a warrior three, left leg down, and this time shoot the right leg all the way back, three-legged dog. And then bending my elbows, bending my left knee, pushing back, and exploding forward into a plank. Lower down chaturanga, lift up, upward facing dog, and then push back into your downward facing dog. Come to land on your knees a moment. So last little strength exercise we'll play with here before just coming into some stretching. We'll play around with dolphin, but we'll also look at how this can transition into a headstand or pincher. So holding onto your forearms again, open your arms out to the side, index finger points forward. What you want to focus on here is the elbows not coming out too wide. So if they do, if you turn your thumbs forward a little bit, it should help you get more of a hug in towards the center line. So we're coming into a dolphin dog. And again, here, try not to let your shoulders collapse forward. So visualize you're trying to get your nose to touch your knees. From here, start by lifting the right leg up. You can either stay here, or if this is okay, you take the head on the ground and then start to lift yourself up into a stag variation of a headstand. If this feels okay and you want to take it into pincher straight away, I'm using the momentum of my right leg going over to bring my left leg off the ground. And again, my shoulders aren't forward. I'm trying to keep my shoulders back over the elbows. So having a go at this, maybe you pause the video and try it a little bit longer. Maybe you want to work with a wall, or maybe you're just working on building your strength in your dolphin dog, whatever feels good for you. But once you've done one side, make sure you do the other side. So again, setting up the forearms. Again, turn the thumbs a little bit further forward if you need to. Lifting up the left leg. And again, either staying here, or if it feels good for you and you want to try it, keeping the head off the ground, bending the right knee, and coming into your stag position here. Again, don't let the shoulders drift forward. So you're trying to keep them back and over the elbows, pointing through the toes so you get a nice straight line. So working with wherever you're at, playing around with it. And then whenever you're done, let's just bring ourselves back. So we'll do a little bit of stretching now to release. I'll just put my microphone to the side for a second. So hopefully it doesn't go mumbled. So when you're ready, come to lie down on your stomach. So we'll just stretch out the chest as we've been doing a lot of compression in this arm balance shape. So from here, bend your left elbow, take it at a 90-degree angle, and then take your right arm out to the side. From this position, take your right ear on the floor. We're then bending our left leg and taking it backwards. Different options you can play with here. Either stay here, or if it's comfortable for you, you can also take the left arm backwards and keeping both palms facing down, try to interlace the left fingers through the right fingers. Either stay here, or if you want to go a little bit further, you'd bend the right knee. And if you want even more, you'd push the hips up into more of a Setu Bandhasana position. Just holding it here for a moment. And then slowly bringing yourself back. We'll do one more position here. So here, I'm going to bend my right elbow, taking it into a gate post position. Again, keeping my right pec on the floor, bending my left elbow to a 90-degree angle. Right ear comes down, and then bending my left knee, taking it backwards. And this one should feel a little bit more challenging, so you might not go as far in it. So again, just taking a big breath in here and taking a big breath out. And we'll then bring ourselves back to the center. Awesome. So let's do the other side now. So we're taking the left arm out to the side, the palm faces down, and we're bending the right elbow, making that 90-degree angle. So from here, bend your right knee and take it backwards. So again, different options to play with. You can either stay here, or if it's comfortable for you, take the right hand backwards and interlace the right fingertips through the left fingers. Again, if you wanted a little bit more, you could bend the left knee. And if this feels okay, you can press the hips up into a Setu Bandhasana position.
Just taking a moment or so here. And then bringing it back. We'll then flip ourselves back over, make a 90-degree angle with the left arm this time. Keep your left pec on the floor, and then bend your right knee and send it behind you. And again, you may notice you don't go quite as far in this one, but that's absolutely fine. Just taking a big breath in here and a big breath out. We'll then bring ourselves back and press ourselves back into a child's pose. So we'll just finish with a twist in child's pose. So lifting the elbows up a little bit, take your left arm underneath your right arm. You can either stay here or come onto your right fingertips and start to walk the right hand backwards. Keep the right heel towards the butt and you'll feel more of a side body stretch. So we're working into the lats a little bit more. And then walk yourself all the way back. So arms back to the center. We're then going to reach the right arm underneath the left arm, taking a nice big twist. Again, either staying here or coming onto the fingertips and walking your left hand away from you. So you feel a stretch more through the left side of the waist. And bringing it back. We'll then bring ourselves back to seated. Bring yourself into a little ball. So tense everything up, collecting in any stress, any tension, then breathe out and bring yourself to lie down in a Shavasana. So lying on your back, taking a deep breath in and a deep cleansing breath out. Taking yourself back to the shape and the rhythm of your breath and allowing it to ground you. So noticing the point where the inhalation starts and where it starts to melt and forge into the exhalation. Noticing the point where the exhalation begins and where it starts to change into the inhalation. And any time your mind starts to wander, just take yourself back to your breath and allow it to ground you. Then when you're ready, take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Just start to move your fingers and your toes. And then draw your feet together. Stretch your arms behind you, taking a really big good morning stretch. We'll then bend the knees, hug yourself tiny into a little ball, and take a little rock from side to side, massaging the back. We'll then roll over to the right and push ourselves up to a seated position. So finishing the class exactly where we started. Taking the hands together in prayer. Thumbs to the forehead, center of intuition. Keeping your thoughts positive. Thumbs to the lips, center of communication. Keeping your words kind. And hands to the heart, keeping your actions full of love. Thank you so much for joining me with your practice. Lots of love to you and namaste.